going to be JD and the Chipmunks in class back there today. So we're in the season for buying gifts, for getting gifts, making sure that we get the right gift, or maybe we keep the receipt for the wrong gift. Christy came home yesterday with some gifts, and she's like, I'm not sure if I'm going to keep this. I can't do that. I can't buy something knowing that I'm going to probably take it back the next day. I have a hard time just buying stuff in the first place. You know, it's really hard for me to spend money on something unless I know they're absolutely going to love it. And gift giving is just the hardest thing in the world to do. Because I know I've received some gifts where I just wish they maybe just kept their money. And it's bad to think that, but you know, unless someone really knows you, it's really hard to get the perfect gift. And this month we're going to talk about gifts that were given to us by God. And again, I said it's going to be based on the movie The Ultimate Gift. In the movie The Ultimate Gift, the main character is the grandson of a wealthy oil man. And the story starts to take its shape when the wealthy old man passes. If you've seen this movie, just bear with me. And he has to have his will presented to his children. His very greedy, self-centered children, I must say. Each of them gets something of great value, but do not appreciate what they have been given. Then after all the children leave the room, the grandson is called in, and he is just as bad as the rest of them. Okay, he's not a perfect little grandson, and actually he's probably in his 20s. And he's not a perfect little boy, but the grandfather had hope for this one. See, his father had passed earlier in life, so he didn't know his father growing up, and he blamed it on his grandfather, the passing of his father. So what he does is the grandfather, in his will, offers his grandson a series of gifts leading up to what he calls the ultimate gift. Now, this grandfather, you have to remember, he's worth billions. Okay, so he's a very wealthy man. Now, each gift he was going to give the grandson was going to test the grandson in some way, and he was going to have to make some tough choices, but the main idea was to get him to the point to where he was able to appreciate the ultimate gift. And I think we can actually parallel the Old Testament up to when Jesus was born, and this is where we're going to lead to a Christmas morning of God presenting us with a series of gifts leading up to the ultimate gift. But in order for us to really appreciate that ultimate gift, we need to appreciate the smaller gifts that He's given us. And I know a sermon series about gift giving seems extremely relevant to the month of December, and I want to look at the gifts God gave His people first. He gave the people in the Old Testament leading up to, so we're not going to really talk much after Jesus' birth because we're going to culminate with that on Christmas morning. And I don't know if any of you are like me, but I'm horrible at remembering when I got something, or even who gave it to me. You know I have this thing in my house, and I know I received it from someone at some time, but I don't remember where it came from or who gave it to me. Christy now, she could be like, oh, you got this on this day. You know, she'll remember for me, but I can't remember for the life of me who gave me some things. Well, the first gift that I want to talk about today is kind of like that gift you don't remember getting, or even where it came from, but you use it all the time. It is the gift of choice. So, and I know I use this gift all the time, and I think, I'm pretty certain that it came from God, but I couldn't remember specifically when He gave it to me. Was it something that He only gave to me, or did everyone receive this gift? When exactly did this gift appear? Turn in your Bibles to Genesis chapter 2, verses 15 and 16. And we were going to look, it's kind of hidden, but we're going to look at when this gift of choice was first given. Genesis chapter 2, verses 15 and 16. The Lord took the man and put him in the Garden of Eden to work it and take care of it. And the Lord God commanded the man, you are free to eat from any tree in the garden, but you must not eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, for when you eat of it, you will surely die. You must not eat of it. Here is that first choice, the first giving of that gift of choice to mankind. He didn't say, you cannot eat of it. He said, you must not eat of it. If he would have said, you cannot eat of it, he would have built a ginormous wall around it to where he couldn't get through. Or he would have put one of those shock collars on him to where if he came close to the tree, he'd be shocked and he wouldn't be able to get any closer. But he said, you must not eat of it. And he said, if you choose to eat of it, you will surely die. God gave Adam the choice not to eat from the tree, knowing that if Adam did, there would be devastating results. God didn't want to physically keep Adam from eating from the tree because God wanted to start forming a relationship with mankind. Through Adam, he gave the gift of choice. God wanted Adam to choose to listen to God, and this is a gift that he has given to everyone. Now we know there's been plenty of choices that we've had to make in our lives. Here's one choice that Winston Churchill had to make. During World War II, Winston Churchill was forced to make a painful choice. The British Secret Service had broken the Nazi code and informed Churchill that the Germans were going to bomb Coventry. He had two alternatives: evacuate the citizens and save hundreds of lives at the expense of indicating to the Germans that the code was broken, or take no action, which would kill hundreds of people, but keep the information flowing and possibly save many more lives. Churchill had to choose. He had to choose. He couldn't just say, well, I'm not going to do anything, because still not doing anything was a choice, but he chose the second course. Not to say anything so the code wouldn't be revealed, and hundreds died. Now, you look at this and there's two groups. When I first read this, I was like, man, that was a horrible choice, because hundreds of people died. But then you think, he saved thousands by making that choice. So there's two ways you can look at it. Someone might say that was a bad choice. Some people might say that was a good choice. We're going to look at some bad choices and some good choices that were made in the Bible. First, we know that Adam made a bad choice. Adam made a bad choice by accepting to eat the fruit of the tree that was presented to him by Eve. And we know that he did not die that day, but he did die. That was not what God had intended for us in the first place, but he did die. And we have been misusing this wonderful gift of choice from God from the very beginning. We look in Genesis chapter 4, and I'm just going to keep going through some examples here, so if you want to keep up, you can. I might be kind of quick with them. Genesis chapter 4, Cain chose the fruits of the soil as an offering to God. Now you say, well, that doesn't sound like a bad thing. He wanted to make an offering to God. He worked the field. He had some strawberries lying around or something, and he wanted to offer up a sacrifice to God, an offering to God. But that displeased God, and it was Abel's sacrifice that pleased God. Well, see, why is that a bad choice, what Cain did? He chose what was convenient for him to offer up to God. He had it there. He's like, well, I've got some of this laying around, and it's convenient for me. Instead of going to try to find something that would be more pleasing to God, he just chose something that was convenient, something that was just lying around. How do we do that with our lives? How do we choose what's convenient for us to give to God without having to sacrifice too much? Let's think about our time. Let's think about the days that we give to God. We all give Sunday to God. Okay, we know we give Sunday to God, but that's convenient for us. Because everybody else gives, well, not everybody else, but that's the day people give to God. People give Sunday to God. Businesses are closed. I don't have to work on Sunday. That makes it even more convenient. Well, some of us don't have to work on Sunday. But it makes it more convenient when schools are shut down and work is shut down to give that day to God. What about those other days? When it's not so convenient to give your time to God, what about those days? What about when you're in the middle of a lot of work at home and everything's starting to pile up, but someone needs you to do something to help them out, or the sick need to be visited, when it's not so convenient for you? What do you do then? Do you make the right choice, or do you make the wrong choice? In Genesis chapter 25, Esau chose stew over his birthright. I like this. Jacob's in cooking some stew. You know, cooking up a big pot of stew here. And Esau walks in. He's been working out in the field, you know, during the day. And his tummy's a grumbling, you know. And he walks in and he's, you know, you're like, you smell the stew when you walk in. Man, I'm hungry. Give me some of that stew. Jacob's like, well, it's going to cost you your birthright, you know. And Esau chose to hand over his birthright because I'm starving to death. What's it going to do me anyway, you know? He chose a momentary satisfaction of the flesh over something eternal. He chose to give away his birthright just so he could have that momentary satisfaction of being fed, where he could have gone and found other means if Jacob would have said no, or he would have made that offer. He could have said, well, you know, I'm not going to give away my birthright. I'm going to go eat a raw potato. You know, I'm going to go find something to chew on. But he wanted that satisfaction. We have a lot of decisions that we have to make over the momentary satisfaction of the flesh or eternity. People make these decisions all the time. And this is kind of a little off-tempo kind of example for this area, but there are some in some of the larger cities. Where I went to church in Florida, you would have the decision between taking your tickets and going to the football game or going to church on Sunday. You know, you have that, well, I want to have this momentary satisfaction of being able to go to the football game instead of going to worship with my friends and families. You know, I want to go play golf instead of go feed the homeless. You know, there's these momentary satisfactions that we try to fulfill in our lives where we choose ourselves first, and we make a bad choice instead of taking that eternal gratification of what comes with